Introduction then. So what's going to be our overarching argument in response to that question, Harvey?
Shakespeare presents Friar Lawrence.
Okay. What is he in this scene? We need to get this written down because this is going to be crucial for your revision. Okay, practicing going through this motion with me. You can see how many mistakes I make. You can see how difficult actually it is even for an experienced teacher to do this. So for you guys, it's almost like we're sitting the exam together in this sense. So we'll go through it together. So what is he presented as?
The Father.
Good. Can somebody give me the act and the scene that we're talking about?
Act 2, Scene 2.
And what is it that we can say? So he presents him as a father figure, but what is it? How can we conclude that introduction? So Shakespeare presents Friar Lawrence as a father figure in Act 2, Scene 3 by... What is it we could link that to? Is it their dialogue together? Is it the soliloquy itself? What is it, Bradley?
I mean, Remy says on the page that it's a good moral father.
Okay, so he actually said they refer to each other with those, and he calls him his son as well, doesn't he, for us to say. Through specific affections in their dialogue. So that's quite a nice intro, isn't it? Yeah, you've got some subject terminology. You're showing that you know which act and scene it is, and you've referred to the question. And you've got your own opinion there, a father figure. Okay. So, which point should we start with? We've got 3 points on our plan. So if we start with the soliloquy, what do we need to talk about first? Or do we need to talk about the dialogue between the two of them and the way that they refer it to each other? Should we talk about that first? Okay. So, within the speech, so I've just put that into a point. Exactly what you've said to me about their close-knit relationship, about their, the way that they address one another, but just put it into a concise point. Who calls who son and who calls who father first? Just need to put that in order.
Romeo refers to his father first.
Okay. So, on Romeo's arrival, where are they? Does it say?
That's the Peter Street.
Yeah, good. Refers to his father. Now, there's two ways of looking at that, aren't there? What's the first way? He says father because he's a Yeah, good, okay. And on first hand, the audience expect this, as he is a man of the church. What is it then later on? Can we connect this to another piece of evidence that's in that scene that tells us that it's more than just that? It's not just that he's a father. So if we say, so he refers to the friar as father, and on first hand the audience expect this as he is a man of the church. Is it? It's an adjective, isn't it? Is it ghostly? Yeah. So ghost. Is it ghostly? Yeah. So yet he adds the additional adjective of ghostly. Okay, so on Romeo's arrival at St. Peter's Church, he refers to the friar as father, and on first hand the audience expect this, as he is a man of the church. Yet he adds the additional adjective of ghostly, which highlights a more spiritual, more surrogate interpretation of the word. We know what surrogate means. What's a surrogate? What's a surrogate?
Yeah, it's not something like parents.
Yeah, so a surrogate father is someone who could be a stepfather or a donor or something like that. So it's a more surrogate. He's taken this responsibility on. Okay, so ghostly, it almost has those connotations, doesn't it, of being in the background. Okay? So ghostly. So we're adding that alternative layer. I'm just going to put ghostly has additional connotations of being in the background, which is reinforced when the friar returns the affection with, and how does he describe his son? What does he say? Give me the quotation. And what's the one about son? When the friar turns to him, we need to get the exact quotation. Is it my good son? It allows the audience to see the closeness, the close bond between these characters. And adds context to their relationship. That they have. What is it about their relationship? What do we learn about their relationship through these two things? Give me some context about their relationship. How do we know that they've not just met, or they're not just kind of fleeting ships?
Friar knew about Rosalie
Yeah, good. Okay.
and Romeo's father doesn't know about.
Yeah, fantastic. Um, have more. How can we describe that? Have more. I don't want to say like concrete, but some have more. What's another way of saying having more of a bond, having a more paternal good? And let me just put have a more paternal bond than hang on, let me just read that again. It allows the audience to see the close bond between these characters and adds to the context of the relationship that they have a more paternal bond than expected between a priest and his church members. Okay. So now we'll put in the bit about, if we put in the bit about his own father and how that's different, okay? It seems that Romeo, and let's get some of these adjectives that we put on our plan, has faith and what else did we put?
Trust.
Yeah, good. Trust in the friar more so than he does in his own father. The friar knows about Romeo's feelings for Rosaline, stated in the, what's the line where he says about Rosaline?
God pardon sin was done with Rosaline.
Yes, down with Rosaline. God pardon sin was thou with Rosaline. Highlighting previous discussions about Romeo's feelings. Okay, so it seems that Romeo has faith and trust in the friar more so than he does in the father. The friar knows about Romeo's feelings for Rosaline, stayed in the line God pardon sin was thou with Rosaline, highlighting previous discussions about Romeo's feelings. Okay, so now what I want us to do, I'm going to put a little star in my margin here because I want us to go back to that quotation, because in the previous lesson we've looked at these three words together and I think that's important, but I need to link So how you structure this is not to move on to the next point about that yet. It's to complete the one that you'd started there about the difference between the friar's relationship with Romeo and the Capulets Montague's relationship with him. So that's what we're going to do. So with his own father, how do we know that their relationship isn't close? Roger?
He asked Romeo what he was.
Yeah, good. Does anybody, can you just skim back and find me a quotation for when he asks Benvolio? We need to go right back to the beginning. So, actually, Lady Montague, where is Romeo? Saw you him today. Then Benvolio speaks, and he says, many a Montague. Benvolio says, if you have a look on this line, Benvolio says, my noble uncle, do you know the cause? Because here is where he talks of Romeo in his depressed state. And Benvolio says, my noble uncle, do you know the cause? I neither know it nor can learn of him. And this is when he's talking about Rosaline. He's run away to the woods, he locks himself up in his room, and Montague doesn't know about that. Okay, so here's a quotation that we can use to support this point here. So highlighting previous discussions about Romeo's feelings. What I'm going to do here is just start a new paragraph, just because I've kind of linked this nicely, but it's still the same, but we need a new paragraph because we're going to now talk a bit about Capulet's relationship with Romeo and moving away slightly from the friar's relationship with him. So we'll start a new paragraph down here. So, bless you. So, in Act 1, Scene 1. In Act 1, Scene 1. Benvolio discusses Romeo's depressed state of mind with the Montagues. Lord Montague describes how Romeo has been adding to clouds more clouds with his deep sighs. I'll just let you catch up before I move on. Just think about that quotation for a second and what it means. Sighs. Right, we're there. You're not copying off my board though, are you? Are you copying off my board or his?
No,
Oh no, but can I move my thing?
Oh, yeah.
Anybody else? Okay. So he adds this idea of adding the clouds, more clouds with his deep side. What's that mean? He's adding to the clouds, more clouds with his deep sighs. What can we say? What do we know that Romeo is? What's that word to describe him? Petrarchan lover. Okay. So, what's his state of mind here? Okay. This shows that Romeo is depressed in his what's the type of love? He's a Petrarchan lover, unrequited. Okay, unrequited situation of love. Okay. Montague knows Romeo is down, but does not know the cause.
You might focus it a bit as well.
Reinforced in I neither know it nor can learn of him. Which is surprising, as he is his paternal father. Okay, we'll stop there. We've not finished by a long shot.